Just when you thought the white folks knew Black Lives Matter too. Just when you thought white folks knew Black Lives Matter too.
Hello everybody and welcome to Whisper2Scream, May 2020, the second edition. My name is Bernard and I am your host. And we are calling this broadcast Just When You Thought White Folks Understood, Black Lives Matter Too. However, police and vigilantes have stepped up the beatings and homicide on black lives here in America. Their forefathers got paid for hunting down runaway slaves and thus began the birth of the police force as we know it today. We're not trying to be inflammatory, it's just a fact. Now, they still treasure the esteem of hunting down people of color and then subjecting them to illegal questioning and hoping it will lead to an arrest or even worse. And just like then, police and vigilantes are heavily armed, not only with munitions, but also with the spirit of the chase. Now, these zealots do not represent the majority of our police force, but their fellow officers defend their criminal actions or they just keep silent. Now, I imagine their silence is gang-related or some fraternity code. Now, we picked several stories, and these happened in the last 60 days. The first story took place in Rancho Cordova, California, and it involves a 14-year-old boy, barely 100 pounds, soaking wet.
Oh, just stop, bro. Put your hands down, bro. Stop.
I wasn't fighting, bro. I wasn't fighting.
Job, bro. Stop, bro. Stop, bro. What's your password? What's your...
Don't do this, bro.
Stop, Josh, stop. Stop, bro. Stop, Josh, stop. Stop hitting him, bro. Just stop. Okay, sir, he gonna stop. Josh, stop.
Bruh, let me go.
Now, why was this kid beaten like that? The cop allegedly saw him persuade an adult to buy him a cigar. And when the cop confronted the kid, he immediately handed over the cigar. But when the cop began to question him, the kid began to lie about his identity, etc., as you know most kids will do. And that's what led to this beatdown all over a cigar. Now, later on that evening, in a news clip, he offered an on-air apology to the cop and suggested that they meet up again and start off on the right foot. And it just kind of shows you the kind of kid that he is. Plus, he had never had any encounters with the law till then.
Sir, I'm sorry for the way that I acted towards you and for not cooperating. And I just hope we could meet again and be on better terms.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, this cop needs to apologize to this kid, and he needs a reprimand for his overzealous actions. If this grown man, as big as this guy is, had not had on that uniform and badge, this would be considered an outrage. Now, this incident could have gone horribly wrong. Now, this next story takes place in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is a picture of a teenager named Damian Shepard and his mother. They look serene now, but a few days ago, an angry white mob bearing firearms, including an AR-15, stormed his front porch, demanding to enter his home in search of a missing white teenage girl named Lakeda Lipinski, who, it turns out, had run away from home. Now, here's the troubling part. This mob was led by a uniformed, off-duty sheriff's deputy by the last name of Kita, who attempted to storm into the kid's house. Well, his mother was also home, and she defended her door. When she attempted to shut the door, the sheriff's deputy wedged his foot in the doorway. Then he insisted she allow only him to enter so he could question the kid. And her reply was a resounding no. What was the outcome of this debacle? Well, eventually, the vigilantes dispersed. The mother reported the event to the authorities. The sheriff's deputy was fired from the job. And by the way, turns out Damien was the wrong kid, and the mob had approached the wrong home. This could have gone terribly wrong. Sadly, there was another incident a few weeks ago in Louisville, Kentucky, where the police entered the dwelling of a homeowner, Kenny Walker, where he and his girlfriend, Breonna Taylor, were jolted from their sleep and met with a salvo of gunfire. Now, Mr. Walker returned fire and sustained non-life-threatening injuries, while Miss Taylor, an EMT front responder, working out of 2 hospitals during this pandemic, was wounded 8 times, and she died from her wounds. The other sad factor is she worked alongside the police every day. She was part of their team. Turns out the person the police were looking to arrest was already in custody. Mr. Walker, who was defending his home, who has a legal license to possess a firearm, has no criminal record, get ready for this, is being charged with attempted murder. Okay, here's an update. Mr. Walker was released from jail to be on house arrest. The judge who ordered him to house arrest was the same judge who just about a year ago shut down a trial in his courtroom because all white juries were being selected to try black defendants. Now, the political machine in St. Louis tried to destroy this judge, who is black. His name is Judge Olu Stevens. He was suspended for 90 days for commenting on this blatant issue that's been happening for too long.
I just want to, first of all, thank everyone that's come out to support me today. I want to say that I'm delighted to have this over with, move forward, and I'm looking forward to getting back to the bench.
One more troubling factor is 3 detectives requested the no-knock warrant and carried out this travesty while a SWAT team that might normally execute this kind of scenario was never notified. All right, here's another update. This is one of the good things that's coming out of this nightmare. Now, all charges have been dropped concerning Mr. Walker, and the FBI has been asked to investigate, and we will continue to update you on this case. Now, by contrast, check out this film where a white man in an urban area is brandishing a firearm and the cops are practically begging him to drop the weapon. We'd like to warn you that some of the language is pretty raw.
Hey, yo, kill that nigga! Come on, y'all tripping. Hey, yo, if he was black, I would have been shot that nigga, man! They'd have been shot him. I'm not fucking trying to fucking go! Oh my God! Yo, if he was black, I would have been shot him, man! He up that gun, they gonna shoot him. He did. They gonna light his ass up if he shoot. No, they can still do it though.
Now, eventually, they shoot him only because he raised the weapon and pointed at a cop. I don't have to remind you of the slaughter caught on police cam where black men and women are shot in the back, in the front, lying down, or even sleeping. Now, my closing thoughts for this broadcast is please do not shrug your shoulders thinking that this is something that's going to continue to happen. We can never make this normal. Please don't wait until it hits our family and friends before we realize we have to save our own neighborhoods. Our quiet and comforting communities will slowly give way to this kind of insanity if we don't begin to deal with it now. Now, this insanity is moving closer than you think, faster than you think. What can we do? What must we do? I have some comments, but I want you to leave your comments in the section below. And when you see or you experience the effects of racial profiling, just remember, it's not because you are black. It's because they are white. As always, be blessed and stay woke.